So Mortal Kombat Legends Battle Realms is right around the corner, and it's time to play our favorite game since we've played it with the Suicide Squad, Mortal Kombat the movie. It's time to play Who Will Die and Who Will Live. Mostly Who Will Die, because with Mortal Kombat it's a lot more dying than living, right? So yeah, so with this list, I'm going to basically go through the majority of the characters that we see in both the regular trailer and the red band trailer and try to piece together who I think will live and who will die. Like I said, mostly die. And their list is not in any particular order per se. It's more of who I think is more obvious to less obvious, but you know, it's kind of hard because there's so many characters and they're battling so many people. So yeah, let's get to it. So first up I have Jax versus Kintaro. Now I think based off the trailer, we obviously know that sadly Kintaro dies. Now he dies in the same fashion basically as Goro does. And I think it's crazy that yet again we're getting a character that we don't get to see very much of, and a lot of fans want to see and, you know, kill some people other than just, you know, basic Earthrealmers. They want to see him do something else other than just have lousy, you know, lines and dialogue and just die. So yet again he just becomes a throw-in character that dies. But Jax, yeah, rips his arms apart and he dies, sad to say. So next up we have Shang Tsung versus Stryker. My guess is Stryker will die, and I believe this is because on the scenes of the trailer we see Stryker basically battling Stryker, which of course Shang Tsung uses his shape-shifting skills to turn into Stryker, and I believe that he will eventually kill Stryker and go back into Shang Tsung form. We also can have some clues to this because later on we see Shang Tsung battle Liu Kang, which is later on down the list, so yeah, I think Stryker is going to die versus Shang Tsung. Next up I have Smoke versus Scorpion, and I think this one's actually a draw. Neither one dies. I know you're like, Justin, really? Nobody dies? Yeah, because while Smoke may be out for vengeance against Scorpion, I think he ultimately comes to see the error in his ways and he realizes what's going on and he's like, oh, I guess we're allies in some ways. Also, we can see in later scenes where Cyrax and Sector are battling Kuai Liang and they're doing some type of cyber initiative stuff, and we can see Smoke kind of like on the ground, kind of incapacitated at the moment. So obviously we know that he and Scorpion may have duked it out, but neither one, it was just a draw. Next up we have Scorpion versus the Lin Kuei Grandmaster. Now, this one I would say it's going to be Scorpion, but I actually think it's going to be one of the demons that basically ends up killing him. I think it would have been Scorpion in the end, but ultimately I think the Lin Kuei Grandmaster dies at the hands of a demon. So we'll have to wait and see, but either way, the Lin Kuei Grandmaster I think will die in this movie. All right, Kuai Liang versus Cyrax and Sector. Obviously, Cyrax and Sector are, I think they're toast. Or are they? Now, in true cyborg fashion, they seem to almost be on the cusp of death and then somehow disappear. Now, we know that the Lin Kuei Grandmaster probably will die, but that doesn't mean that Cyrax and Sector have to die. So I am going to say it can go either one of two ways. Either they will die at the hands of Kuai Liang, or they somehow escape at the last minute, either with or without Smoke. We'll have to wait and see. So Raiden versus Kitana is up next, and I ultimately think this is just for show. Obviously from some of the recent clips that we've seen from the upcoming Battle of the Realms, we see that she is like General Kitana and is in charge of, you know, Khan's armies and, you know, basically Team Outworld. But I think it's all for show, and I can tell this because in the Red Band trailer, and I think even the regular trailer, where they show clips of Raiden saving Liu Kang after his parents are killed by the Cartons, we basically can see Kitana there also kind of aiding Raiden in protecting Liu Kang. So I think that Raiden and Kitana will battle for show, and ultimately she will deflect onto the good side, much like we all wanted to see Cabal do in the movie. Next up we have Raiden versus Reiko, and unfortunately Reiko will die again, and he will not get much backstory and just a couple of bits of dialogue. But yes, Shao Kahn's general, or Kitana Khan's general, whoever. Yep, he's dead. He's not going to make it up, unfortunately. Next up is Sonya versus Lei Mei, and I know I got a lot of grief for mistaking her as Melina, but nonetheless, I would like to think that she will also deflect to the good side, but I don't think she will make it out alive. I think Sonya will get the better of her, and she will ultimately perish. Sad, sad. Next up, we have Johnny Cage versus D'Vorah. So obviously from the trailer, we can see that Johnny Cage starts off strong, but ultimately gets hit in the nuts, and that takes our boy down. But lo and behold, you can't be messing with Johnny Cage because his girlfriend, Sonya Blade, is up there, and she is going to defend her man. So that leads me to my next one, Sonya Blade versus Devora, and Devora will die. Sonya Blade's like, don't be hitting my man in the nuts. I gotta have kids with this man. So, yep, she's gonna do her thing, and Devora will die. I think Devora's an interesting character. I would like to think that she would do like she does in her video games and somehow escapes, but we'll have to wait and see how aggressive Sonya Blade is. All right, next up, Liu Kang versus Jade. Now, I would like to think just like Li Mei and Katana, you know, they're all Adinians, and I would like to think that they would basically deflect onto the good side, but as we've seen in some movies and based off of her story and sometimes in the video game, Jade can kind of be a wild card and play both sides. So I think ultimately Jade, while she may be on the bad side, she could be good. I just don't think she gets to it in time, and I think Liu Kang ultimately kills her. I think we see a lot of this as clues to when, you know, we're seeing the X-ray stuff happen and, you know, the emphasis on the red and the blood. I think Jade just won't make it out, unfortunately. So next up, Liu Kang versus Shang Tsung. So as I said earlier, when Shang Tsung's battling Stryker, obviously I'm pretty sure Stryker will not make it out alive because he's going to battle Liu Kang later on, Shang Tsung is. So in this battle, I don't think Shang Tsung will die. I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. You know, there's a part where I talked about in a previous video where we see Shao Kahn licking blood from victims that have died. When it was one victim or multiple victims. But I kind of want to say Shang Tsung will die. And I feel like Shao Kahn will kind of reap in that because he's not happy that Shang Tsung was not able to take care of the Earthrealmers and Scorpion's revenge. So I think he won't end up saving Shang Tsung and he will ultimately die. Plus, since we don't have Quan Chi in the picture, as we know, and usually Shang Tsung's not a fan of Shinnok, I think Shang Tsung will probably perish versus Liu Kang. Now finally, Liu Kang versus Shao Kahn. Shao Kahn, while Liu Kang will win the match, Shao Kahn will not die. And I believe what happens is Raiden, there's a scene where you can kind of barely see it, but I think Raiden ends up taking Shao Kahn to the Elder Gods, and basically you can kind of see like he has his hands cuffed or tied together, and I think he ends up standing trial with the Elder Gods. It could be Shinnok, but it kind of looks more like Shang Tsung. Looks more like Shao Kahn. Or is it Shang Tsung in disguise? Ooh, could be a theory. Now, I wanted to make a note that we did not see anybody actually battle Kung Lao, and I hope we do not have another instance where Kung Lao just ends up dying. We see him multiple times in the movie, and we see him about to battle somebody, but ultimately we don't see him actually who he is battling. So because of that, I am sad to say I think Kung Lao will die. It better not be at the hands of Shang Tsung. It better be something cool, like maybe Kentaro comes up behind him and kills him or something. I don't know. But something better be happening that's a little bit cooler than Shang Tsung taking his soul. If it happens just like the movie, I'm like, what is everybody's deal with Kung Lao? Why can't the guy just live and battle somebody? All right, and that's my list of who will live and who will die for Mortal Kombat Battle of the Realms. Of course, this is all predictions, no spoilers. I mean, it's from the trailer, so everything I got is from the trailer. I've not seen the movie yet, so I could be right, I could be wrong. If I'm right, then boy, I better go buy a lottery ticket because, you know, I'm on fire. But let me know in the comments what your guesses are, who you think will live, who you think will die, and who do you think maybe is kind of like in the middle? Love to hear your thoughts down below. And that's it for this video, guys. Enjoy that like button. As always, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time on the Mashup.